the notion I want
to benefit the
Gambia.
country. How?
Exactly.
No, to benefit the country. How? It's not just good to say, well, I am going to
what I'm saying is that going to these conferences, one, you network, two, you understand, three, you try to. This whole idea of per diem is a false notion. People think that ministers make money. No, they give you the per diem for you to pay for your hotel and your local transportation, another incidental cost that you may incur during your travel. Now, if all these are covered, nobody gives you money to go. So in most cases, a significant chunk of our travels, we don't receive per diem because it's fully funded.
Well, when China invites you, China is inviting you because you are a minister in the government of China, because it's China and the Gambia government that have a relationship.
Yes.
And before you became minister, China was not inviting you.
Yes. And I'd like to make some clarifications.
I can repeat what I said.
Yes,
I said in the past, ministers would send press releases to media houses weeks before to ensure that they carry this in their news. The Minister of Information and is about to go to Guinea-Bissau. Now you don't hear that.
I've never seen that before, Peter. Not under Yajame, not under Jama.
I have been doing this job for 40 years. You don't tell me what happens in my domain. I tell you what happens in my domain. And I am insisting. You can call Pap Sen. You can call other senior journalists.
I'm not saying that I said I've not seen it. I was listening to you this morning, talking about ministers' travel patterns.
Yes.
And I'd like to make some clarifications.
I can repeat what I said.
Yes,
I said in the past, ministers would send press releases to media houses weeks before to ensure that they carry this in their news. The Minister of Information and is about to go to Guinea-Bissau. Now you don't hear that.
I've never seen that before, Peter. Not under Yajame, not under Jama.
I have been doing this job for 40 years. You don't tell me what happens in my domain. I tell you what happens in my domain. And I am insisting. You can call Pap Sen. You can call other senior journalists.
I'm not saying that I said I've not seen it.
I didn't ask you whether you saw it. I was putting a point to you.
But also, I have not seen it before. Maybe it has happened. I'm not saying it did not happen. I'm saying I've not seen it.
Well, you are saying it hasn't happened if you say maybe.
I said I've not seen it. But anyways, what is important is that I think there is the misconception out there why would ministers in fact hide that they are traveling? Nobody is hiding that we are traveling. In fact, people have to understand that
there's a UN Ocean Conference in France. We need to know that the Gambia is being represented. That's what we are saying.
That's one thing. What I'm trying to get at is the notion that ministers sneak out because of the backlash. No, we don't. And there's no need, because why? Most of these I can tell you that my experience in government has shown me that over 70% of the travels that ministers do at no cost to the Gambia government. So there's no need to sneak out if it doesn't come out. But the only reason you would sneak out is if you think
what use is it to the country then? If it's at no cost to the government, what's the benefit to country?
It's representing Gambia at international fora. We are part of multilateral organizations.
So why would you not want people to know?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that is one thing. The one I want to focus on is that there is no reason to sneak out. If, for example, all these travels are at a cost to the taxpayers, perhaps you would say there's a reason to sneak out. I'm saying there's no reason to sneak out. Now, ministers' communication patterns, I cannot speak on that. But for me, I think it's important that ministers communicate, are transparent in their travels. Nothing is wrong with that, because there's nothing to hide. I'll be traveling very soon, and most of my travels are not paid for by the Gambia government, zero cost. It's all paid for by the organizers of these summits and these conferences. So for me, the notion I want
to benefit the
Gambia,
country. How?
Exactly.
No, to benefit the country. How? It's not just good to say, I am going to
What I'm saying is that going to these conferences, one, you network, two, you understand, three, you try to understand how policies work. You bring those policies and replicate. You get funding.
I'll give you an example. Diba was named to this thing since the 2nd of June. I got information about it. Somebody said to me, isn't this newsworthy and whatever, all right? Until I could speak to him to ask how his appointment would benefit the Gambia, I'm not interested in just, telling people that he's done this. How do I, as a taxpayer, all right, contributing to his pay, know how I will benefit, even if it is just reputational benefit to the country?
Yeah.
So we have to know what's in it for us. Telling me that I'm traveling to next week and it's all paid for by the United Nations, why?
No, that is one thing. That's a matter of communication, Peter. That's what I'm trying to say. For me, my focus on is the idea and the notion that ministers sneak and travel just because they are afraid that the backlash. What I'm saying, that should not. No, but I mean, the issue is that one ministers don't sneak to travel. There's no reason to sneak, and there should not be no backlash because these travels mostly are fully funded.
But stop
are fully funded.
To benefit the Gambia.
Of
how?
course, yes. Like I said, in many different ways. It depends on the summit. It depends on the forum. It depends on the purpose of the trip. I mean, ministers would just want to travel for the purpose of traveling. What is so exciting about traveling?
What is so exciting? You ask me what is so exciting about traveling?
No, that is the notion I'm trying to dispel.
Some ministers, before their appointment, they hardly left this country to go to Senegal.
Because they have no business there. Now they have business.
No, they don't have the means to travel.
No.
They do not have the means to travel.
Peter, you need to give me the chance to explain. And I think that notion of per diem is wrong. In the sense that when travels, like I said, are fully funded, there's no per diem. There's no per diem.
We are not sure.
No, I know, I'm telling you. It's not about being unsure.
But there is always money.
There is no per diem.
Whether it is, what do you call it? Is it time travel, whatever?
That is none. That's what I'm telling you. I'm inside. I know what's happening. Right. Like you're telling me about your job for 40 years. That is there. I'm also telling you about my job inside government, how it works. When you travel and it's fully funded for, if accommodation, because in the letter that is written to you, it stated in the letter clearly that accommodation, travel, everything is paid for. Government gives you no money to go. Why would you give the per diem for what? The purpose of the per diem is to pay for your hotel and your feeding and your local transport. Now, if that is covered, why would you give them the money? It wouldn't even go through audit. They would even pay you.
Yeah, we are waiting for...
Even in your clearance. No, even the clearance.
We are waiting for audit.
Let me explain how it works.
Go ahead.
Like, for example, I'll be traveling to China very soon. Now, the government of China will write to me an invitation, and they'll put an invitation as to travel cost, accommodation is fully paid for by the Chinese government. I'll use that letter to apply for clearance to be allowed to leave the country. Now, in the letter that is given to me to approval, clearance, it will say that this will come at no cost to government. So that letter cannot be used to get money from anywhere. It will not even pass your internal audit inside the office. Let alone goes to AG, to Auditor General for you to be paid to Treasury. So this whole idea of per diem is a false notion. People think that ministers make money. No, they give you the per diem for you to pay for your hotel and your local transportation and other incidental costs that you may incur during your travel. Now, if all these are covered, nobody gives you money to go. So in most cases, a significant chunk of our travels, we don't receive per diem because it's fully funded. So we go with nothing. In fact, you go at a loss because when you go, people expect that you have to buy some present for it from your own pocket. So sometimes most of these travels are at a loss to government officials. So I think people need to understand that the per diem is not an extra payment they give you for spending night out. The per diem is given to you to pay for your hotel. If you are going to Guinea-Bissau and it's statutory, for example...
You've just been to Guinea-Bissau. How much were you given?
For which one?
Guinea-Bissau.
There are rates for per diem. These are fixed rates by government.
No, I'm just joking.
Now, so I cannot go into those, but there are rates by government when you travel. But most of our travels, Peter, are fully funded. And when they are fully funded, nobody gives you money to go. No per diem is given to you because the purpose of the per diem is for you to pay for your hotel. Now, if it says in the letter that the hotel is paid for, so what I want the public to understand how these things work, Peter. I think that is our role as government. Because most people are in government, they don't understand.
I thought he was going to clarify.
And they think that the per diem is given to you because you are traveling, no matter the nature of the travel. The per diem is only paid to you if the travel cost is not covered by the host country. If it's for example, a statutory meeting. But once it is covered by the host, there is no per diem paid to you. Zero per diem is paid to you for your travel. They don't pay you anything because everything is covered for. Now, the money they give you, if it is not paid for by the host country, if it's going to be paid for the Gambia government, it means that they only pay you those days that you'll sleep out, and every night the hotel you pay is what they give you. So when you you pay your hotel, you eat. What else would you save from your per diem? Nothing. So people need to understand that it's a false notion thinking that, okay, the travel is separate and every travel there is per diem. There is no per diem. I've traveled many times since I became minister over 1 year ago. I think if I have done 10 travels, at least 7 are fully funded for by the host country, and I get no per diem for those travels. In fact, when I go there, I have to spend my own money to buy the stuffs that I need. If I don't travel, I wouldn't spend that money. I think people need to understand that. That has to be clear. And so therefore, ministers have no reason to sneak out. Yes, I agree with you. We should communicate better because we are serving the Gambian people. We need to be more transparent. Even if the travel comes at a cost to government, we need to tell people that we are traveling, we are going to do X, Y, Z, and this will benefit us. We'll improve on that in that communication. Yeah. I agree with you on that one. But what I'm saying is that I don't want people to have the notion that we sneak out and sneak in because we are using taxpayers' money. Most of these travels comes at no cost to the taxpayer.
Okay, fantastic. Well, when China invites you, China is inviting you because you are a minister in the government of China, because it's China and the Gambia government that have a relationship.
Yes.
And before you became minister, China was not inviting you. If it invited
because
you,
on my job. Because now, as a government official.
And what I'm saying, we should always, the Gambian taxpayer should always know the return on investment, whether it's investment directly from the government or China on behalf of all of us. Tell us why, what you people have brought back.
Like I said, Peter, for that has been good for government.
Yeah.
That's good PR for government.
Exactly.
For government officials to be transparent and tell, because if you are doing something good, tell the government something. If I go to China, like I was in Bissau, I came back, I went to Bissau, I did X, Y, and Z. In Bissau, these are the benefits. It's good for us as a government to tell people what we are doing, particularly those good things. Every travel comes with a benefit. So for me, I see nothing wrong. Like I said, I cannot speak for ministers' communication patterns and communication habits. But for me, like I said, I see nothing wrong with government officials telling the citizens when they travel, what they achieve there, why they travel. This is good for government because it shows we are working. It shows we are working.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.